Hey, this is Ebube Olivia Akueme and I'm coming to you live from Kent in the UK. How are you today? I hope you're well and you're good and you're having an absolutely fantastic Wednesday. I saw, even though the weather is changing, a lot of people seem to be catching cold or whatever. However, we're here, we're alive, we're well, we're kicking, we're rocking, and we're rolling. And I hope you are too, wherever you are, whether you're coming back from work, going to work, whatever it is that you're doing. But I hope you're well and you're good. Today, we come kind of to the end of September. In a few days' time, we'll say goodbye to September. And my topic for today is actually focusing on the things that have that ability. They contain, that essence of helping you achieve fulfillment and happiness. So I'm going to be running through, sharing three ideas, three tips that when you focus on these things, they can bring you a lot of fulfillment and happiness if you do not neglect these three areas, especially, as we come to the end, of this year. We're already in the ember months, as they call them, September, October, November, and December. Those are like the ember months. And looking at them and saying, okay, am I fulfilled? This is the 9th month now, so I think it's a very good time to ask yourself, am I really fulfilled from the beginning of the year? From the beginning of the year till now, do I feel fulfilled in general, in my life, in my everything that concerns me? Really, these three things will help. So the first one, of course, has to do with your health. Okay, so I'm not going to be saying them in any particular order or giving one priority, but it's just to say that these are things that definitely, if you stay focused on them, you don't lose track, or you're doing something, you have some kind of routine around these areas, the high likelihood of you finding fulfillment and happiness in these areas are very, very high. So the first one I can mention is your health. And again, back to that question idea is, what is your health routine? Don't neglect your health. Some of us sometimes are, very, very good with our career and certain aspects of our lives, whereas we neglect other areas of our lives. And sometimes our health, is usually one of those areas. And there's always a very high price, to pay when we neglect any area, but especially this area of health. Because why? There are many, many reasons I can give. However, the one that I just want to, stress on or highlight on is peace of mind and well-being. Without any shadow of, doubt, without any, argument or debate on that, we know that if you take care of yourself, or your body, as they say, your body yourself will take care of you invariably. So the question there is, do you have your health routines? What do you do? Are you someone that likes to go to the gym or those sort of things? Or you look into your nutrition? You look into sort of things that you eat. You look into the sort of things that you pour into yourself in terms of your mind, your associations. All those things affect your mental health, because when you neglect your health, we know from statistics and medicine that you're very likely to end up in a place where you find very, very stressful or ill or whatever. So your health forms a very big aspect of yourself. It's one of the founding pillars of life, of your life, of my life, or of anybody's life. And so we know this without a shadow of doubt, that your health being one of those very, very important areas, you cannot afford to neglect your health, to neglect certain activities, good practices that you will come up with. No one has to tell you exactly what you do. We all know what to do when it comes to our health. I mean, we can learn from other people, we can have better practices, definitely, but we know the basics of course, eating right and exercising and all those things and all that. And I'm not saying we have to be perfect in all of them, but the reality is that if you don't have any, then it's very likely that even though you might be happy in other areas of your life, or you're doing okay in other areas of your life, this particular area of your life will bring you some kind of sadness or depression, if you understand what I'm saying. And people do get anxious about their health, or they get depressed about their health, but it's down to that word neglect. Have you been neglecting your health? Of course, most of us sometimes we do, but it should not be something that should run on for forever. It should be something that, okay, oh yes, oops, I haven't done my exercise, or I haven't, been eating right, or whatever it might be, for a while, and then we come back, get back straight on, back on track, and back onto those good habits that promote good health and that help you. Now, we also know that when your health is strong, when your health is right as well, it helps you to also achieve well and better in other areas of your life. So there's so many good reasons about our health, about your health, about taking care of one's health, that it just cannot be overemphasized. So number one is that when you focus on your health, on taking care of your health, on practicing good habits when it comes to your health, definitely you're heading towards that place of fulfillment and happiness. Now, it's not to say that even when you take care of your health, things cannot happen. Things can happen, but at least, number one, you're prepared. Number two, your body's stronger, and whatever happens, you know exactly what you're dealing with, unlike somebody who doesn't take care of their health, and then they have ailments, they don't know whether it's due to this or whether it's due to that, and so on. But whatever the issue is, health is wealth. It is so wealth. So that would be, for me, my tip number one. My tip number two has to do with your spirituality. Now, spirituality, just like physical health I've just talked about, spirituality is health of ourselves, within ourselves, the aspect of us that is not physical, so we don't see it. Now, this is not a conversation for everyone, because not everyone really believes in spirituality, or that there's that side of things. But for those who believe in this side of things, it's something that you cannot neglect. I believe that apart from us being physical, there's also a spiritual side, an unseen part of us, and I actually believe that's the core of us. What you see is an extension of who we are, behind the scenes, if that makes a lot of sense. Now, in our spirituality, the question is, again, what are your practices? What are the things that you do that help you? Because for me, the goal and purpose of spirituality, and this is why it's so essential and important to practice your spirituality and not neglect that side, things like praying, like fasting, just like when it comes to health, you eat the right food, you exercise, and all of that. When it comes to your spirituality as well, you have those exercises and things that you do, praying, fasting, giving alms, and all those good things that you do. They do what? And meditating. I like meditating as well. They do what? They connect you back to your true self. And now, when we look around our world, it's a very lost world sometimes, because people tend to copy people. And they tend to copy people because they're not really who they are. They don't really know who they are. They copy people because they don't really know who they are. But if you do spend time in your spirituality, this is one area that you begin to learn more about your essence, who you really are. And when you know who you really are, you then know what is of priority to you, and what is what are the key things that are in line with who you are. Now, when you don't know who you are, everything and anything can be in line with who you are, and that's why a lot of people sometimes within themselves, they are very, very discombobulated. They don't know who they are. They're not really sure about themselves, and there's a loss or a sense of loss as to who they are, and that shows up in a lot of areas of their life. So take time to explore your spirituality. If you're of that school of thought, take time to explore your spirituality. Take time to connect to your true self, to know who you really are, who you truly are, and connecting to your true self as well would most likely lead you as well to your purpose. Purpose being, what are the things I'm meant to be doing? What direction am I meant to be heading in life? Those sort of things, what kind of associations, and so many other things. It's going to actually open up a whole new world to yourself. So there's a lot of reasons, good reasons, why your spiritual life, you just cannot afford to neglect that. Now, let me move on to number three. Number three, without any shadow of doubt, is your finances. Your finances need to be in order, because it's one of those areas that when it's not in order, you definitely experience all sorts of negative emotions. I remember when we used to run this seminar in London, central London, and then we'll ask the audience, we'll ask people, when it comes to your finances, if you're not where you want to be, how do you feel? And you hear people say things like, they feel sad, they feel depressed, they feel lost, they feel there's so many negative emotions when it comes to one's finances. But I'll tell you one thing, your finances don't stand alone. Your finances usually is always connected to the good work that you do, if that makes a lot of sense. So it means that when you look at the kind of work that you're doing, your work should be one that has value and impact to yourself. It should be something not in the eyes of anybody else, but to your own self. Because when you begin to feel fulfilled in that area, one of the things that you want to do as well, or you see people doing that are very successful in their careers, is they begin to develop skills over time. And good skills and more skills then can bring you more money, more income, and then you can do a whole lot. Of course, if you are financially literate or you have some kind of financial education. But your finances are very, very essential as well. It's one of those strong pillars in your life. Because imagine if, okay, your health is good, your spirituality is also good, but every single day it's a grind, it's a struggle when it comes to your finances. And I'm not saying that you can't struggle in any area, even if and when you're taking care of your finances, but you have a better chance, if that makes a lot of sense, of overcoming some of these things because you were already taking care, you were already being responsible towards your finances. So it's one of those areas that you definitely cannot neglect. You definitely don't want to neglect at all. Let's talk about working. Like I mentioned, working is definitely attached to your finances. Now, when you look at the statistics in the UK, when I talked about doing work that is valuable and has impact, is the statistics shows like 36% of people definitely are not happy in their work or in their jobs or whatever it is that they're doing. And that's 36% of the working population. That doesn't have to be you, so find something. And if you're already doing something, try and find meaning in your work. But most importantly, connect your work to your finances as well. Does that make a lot of sense? Earn good money, earn things that can help you to adjust your finances, or at least to put it right, if that makes a lot of sense. There's a fourth tip I'm going to share. That fourth tip is very, very essential. Even though today is all about just sharing 3 things that will bring you fulfillment and happiness, if you don't neglect them, this one thing as well. My tip number 4 are your relationships. Your relationships definitely bring you one of the most important, if not the deepest fulfillment you will get when you have good relationships at home, good relationships in the workspace, good relationships with external human interactions and all of that. That brings the ultimate fulfillment. So let me end my today's Facebook Live by saying something, that true success and happiness lies in fulfillment and freedom. Find your rhythm when it comes to your health. Find your rhythm in your spirituality and in your finances. Never you neglect any one of these areas, because if you do, then of course what you're saying is, I'm not being fulfilled here, and of course you're not going to be happy. So remember that those building blocks of life, those pillars of life, they do matter. And if you neglect them, then you're saying, I don't want to be fulfilled, and ultimately you don't want to be happy. I hope this makes a lot of sense. Be better in all of those areas. Until next time, my friends, stay well, take care,